it's stuff that isn't necessarily real. It just is what it is,
Right.
you know. Sometimes it's elitist, and I have my own feelings about that sometimes.
Yep.
But it is what it is. It is
Yeah.
what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Duke name and the Duke networks have definitely helped me a lot in my career.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Yeah,
Yeah. And
it helped me get visas. It
yeah.
helped me get visas. I'll be in the visa office at the U.S. Embassy, and the lady will be like, "Oh, you went to Duke?
Yeah.
Oh, how's North
Wow.
Carolina?" I'd be like, "All
Yeah.
of a sudden, I have a visa."
Yeah.
The guy behind me, mm-mm, mm-mm. I've actually seen this happen multiple times,
Wow.
right? Of like going to the visa office in Uganda, and
Niggas
you,
laugh about it here.
because when you're in the visa, when you're in the
Yeah.
line for the visa, they have you in these lines for days, man.
Yeah.
Not days, but literally, not days, literally, but hours in a day.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
in a line with the same people. So eventually, you begin to talk to each other, you know.
Right.
And so you always know at least the two guys in front of you and the two guys behind you because you're
Yeah.
always like moving on the same through the same
Yeah.
seats, you
Yep.
know,
Yep.
before you enter for your interview. And eventually you get to know, oh, this guy here is going to do some conference. This guy is going to college in some remote town in the middle of nowhere in the US. This guy's everyone has a thing they're trying to do, you know.
Right.
And then we get in there, right? We get in there, and I remember the specific time, and the guy goes in there, and this lady just like rips into him,
Yeah.
asks him all these questions about his degree and what he's trying to do. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, he has all the paperwork. He's trying to go to school. He has all the
Right.
documents. It's here,
It's not
you
Duke
know?
though.
And she just said no. She just said no. I can never forget. And the hard part about that visa process is the second you go in there, we're not going to talk to you again. Like it's done.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
get in there, you go out, and then you go home and you deal with your sadness by yourself. The rest of us, this kind of look from our benches like, oh, he got the pink slip. He didn't get the, because the slips have different colors. Like if you
Oh
get a
no.
different,
So you get to
if you
see
get
what
like a red slip, yeah, exactly. So you know. So we're all just sitting on the couch like, oh, he got a red slip. Oh man, that's not good. You know?
oh
And
man,
then I
yeah.
walk in there. So now he goes ahead of me. So then I
Yeah.
walk in there and I'm terrified. I'm like, oh man, this because sometimes the visa process is like it's very much based on individuals, you
Hmm.
know? Like if you find someone in there that's just harsh for
Yeah.
whatever reason that day, then it's going to be a long day
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
many people,
Yeah.
you know? And so I walk in there, I'm terrified now, you know? And the lady, and she's like, yes, hello, good morning. You know, she doesn't even like look in your eyes. She just like says, okay, that's Shem. Yes, okay, give me your I-20. You know, she starts asking you for documents,
Right.
barely making eye contact, right?
Yeah.
And then the second she sees Duke University,
Glows up.
she's like, oh, I was like, you guys, you have to be kidding me, man. You know? And everything just like, she was
Yeah.
like, have fun at school.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's
You know?
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's things like that. It
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah. And the reason I asked that question prior is because I think a lot of times, like you said, when you initially were picking school, it's not just I'm not picking on you or anything like that, but when we pick schools, oftentimes I don't think we think of the importance of like where we're going and sort of like what you want to do. Um, you know, once you're in that school and how to utilize like the nuances tied to the school you're going to, like Duke being reputable for XYZ reasons. How can you use that to your benefit as an individual? So this is not just, of course, from a tech standpoint. This is in general. If you're going to a university, what are things that you plan on doing while at that university outside of studying? There's so many other nuances with going to a good school that I don't think we take advantage of. And the fact that you went to a great school, you utilize the networks that you still keep in touch with even to this day that help build certain bridges that may expand to other lanes. I think that's very important. Of course, we've heard the whole adage of how network and net worth and all this other jazz. But um, when it comes to like progressing into different areas that may be blockers, I think oftentimes we forget that school plays a very important role in that. Even if you talk about from a for those who do boot camps and stuff like that, I'm going back to the tech space now, where you go do your boot camps, like all those things are important to research because you get to network with other individuals and it kind of places you in that kind of circle that you
Mm.
can maybe be able to call upon later down the line. It's not always the case, but it's certainly a factor to think about when you look from an education perspective. So I'm hoping that what you just shared there, people think about a lot more when it comes to picking a school, especially those in the continent as a whole. Don't pick a random institution just because you want to get out of the space.
Yeah,
Now, if that's your only option, okay, I get
yeah.
it. But if
See,
you have
I was
options,
yeah. See, I was just about to say, okay, so I agree with you. I agree with you. Obviously, I do, but it's complicated, right? I think when I think about two different people, an American born and raised in America, thinking about going to college, and then African, no matter how wealthy they may be,
yeah,
because more often than not, when Africans come to America, they have money to go to college, right? More often than not.
yeah,
Um, so those two people think about that experience very differently, and those two people plan for that experience very differently.
yeah,
And my only insight into what that looks like is maybe the conversations I had with some of my American friends while I was in college, and generally even to this day. They talk about like, oh, I wanted to leave Indiana. I was tired of being in Indiana. I wanted to go somewhere else.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
I got a lot of that of like just I wanted to leave home.
yeah,
I got a lot of there were a few people, and of course, this is also a function of the universities you end up in. When I went to Duke, now it becomes people uh, either their parents are legacies or they are a bit more ambitious. So they're like, oh, I wanted to go to Duke because I'm trying to, they're a bit more strategic about it,
yeah,
right? But at the undergrad level, it was mostly I just wanted to leave home. It was close by. This is the school that gave me the most money, things like that. That's what the American perspective looked like. The African perspective, usually, there's a small percentage of people from the African continent coming to America that I know of that apply to Harvard, Cornell, these apply to Ivy League
yeah,
universities,
yeah,
right? Or just big schools, prestigious schools like
right,
that, for a variety of reasons. But mostly, I think the main consideration is money.
yeah,
The main consideration is money. For all of these, for most of the people that
right,
come from the African continent that I've met,
yeah. No, no,
right?
I think that makes a lot of sense. Like
Yes.
if you have the opportunity to pay for a school and you can afford it, um, I think that's where I'm getting at. It's like if you can afford whether Harvard or Salisbury University, in my case,
Oh, yeah. If
like
you can afford it, go to
yeah,
Harvard, man.
yeah,
Yeah. If they
but
let you in, go.
yeah, but if you go to Harvard, just don't go there to say I went to Harvard and just get the education. It's also what are you gonna abstract from Harvard while you're there?
Mm,
What are you going to extract from it? From building relationships, things like that. And I don't think oftentimes like we look at it, we just think, oh yeah, I can just say I went to Harvard. But there's other things
yeah.
what you can do while you're on the campus that can actually get you into other doors. And that's my hope is like,
Yeah.
and even if it's like Salisbury University, which no shade on my school, guys.
You'll be shitting on your school, bro.
no
I
no
hope they don't
shade.
see this pod.
No shade. No
I hope
shade,
they don't see this
Salisbury.
pod. You'll be like Salisbury University.
We're a small school, go goals. But at the end of the day, it's like I was focused on building relationships as well while there, and I got into school because I got a great relationship with one of the directors there for Powerful Connections. They helped me get my GA, which paid for my schooling. So to me, like that relationship to this day still stands. Mr. Vaughn White, thank you for everything that you've done. If you're watching this podcast, it it's those things that for me that I did that I didn't think about consciously at the time, but I was really focused on building relationships, and it probably dawned on me maybe like 2 years post grad that um, making friendships and building like sort of like the different connections was what helped me throughout paying like for instance I work for the track coach for Jim Jones. I worked for him for a couple years that helped me to pay for like little odd ending deals. And he's even to this day he still pings me and contacts me for like other things, networking. I get like free tickets and things like that to like events. But those are things I never thought about while in school now. But those are
Mm,
things now that it's a benefit now. So for
yeah.
me, I'm hoping that others, you know, those are things that I didn't know. So I'm hoping that from
Yeah.
my lack of knowledge, those are things that you could take advantage of. If you're going to like these schools, if you're going to these boot camps, you think about, okay, how can this help me 5, 10 years down the line? You know, think about those
Yeah.
things when you're making
Yeah.
those
I mean,
decisions.
I think safely put, people should assume that the main importance of formal education at this point is extracurricular activities.
Yep. Networking. Yeah. Yep.
That's the main purpose it serves.
Yep.
The education, the classroom stuff, you can learn everything online.
Yep.
Every single thing that you're learning, you can learn online. School is for making friends and for finding opportunities. That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Everyone should know this.
Yep.
This is how you should think about it. And the
Yeah.
second you land on campus, you should be thinking, who do I need? Where do who are my friends? Where do I get
Right.
my friends? And what opportunities does this university provide?
Hey, what up, fam? This is Saul Levy, host of Africans in Tech, where we're building bridges and shaping futures in tech. Just a quick reminder for those who've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. You can catch all of our content, including our whiteboard sessions, where you'll find our full-length videos on our channel. And hit that notification bell, fam. All right?